Hey everyone, and welcome to the 7th day of Azure Spring Clean. Azure Spring Clean, for the people who don't know it, is a community event where each contributor will share its knowledge about an Azure topic during the whole month of February. I am Charlotte Amin, and I am a Microsoft Azure MVP. So I just want to thank Joey and Thomas for organizing this event. And my contribution is all about the Azure governance and some points to never forget. So as I told you, we're going to talk about the Azure governance and some points to remember or some points to never ever forget. So let's talk about the governance. A lot of people think that governance is a word related to Azure, or when we talk Azure, we talk governance. So when we talk governance, we talk Azure. But actually it is not. Following the business dictionary, the governance is the establishment of policies and continuous monitoring of their proper implementation by the members of the governing body of an organization. In other words, we can take the same definition and apply it on Azure. We can get the definition of Azure governance simply by this one, which has nothing to do with Azure. So in other words, the Azure governance is the establishment of policies and continuous monitoring of the Azure resources by a cloud team of an organization. It includes the configuration required to manage Azure resources. So what we need to know about this definition is that the governance has nothing to do with Azure. We just apply a general definition on Azure resources. Let's take a simple use case that explains the definition. There are several customers that have several conditions. Let's take storage accounts. Let's take data. I don't want to save my data outside Europe, so I need that my ops team creates the storage account only in the Europe regions and not outside, not in the US. But unfortunately, if we don't control them, 2 days after, we may see some storage accounts in the US regions or Asia regions, things that my customer will not allow. And I need a kind of policies, a kind of continuous monitoring to be sure that my storage account will be deployed only in Europe regions, that my ops team will not deploy the storage account outside of the Europe region. So I need to do this automatically. I won't check it every day manually that I have all my storage accounts inside the Europe region, but I need something to do it automatically. So let's take the same storage account. As you know, if you deploy the storage account without making it behind a firewall, everyone may have access. But I want to be sure that my storage account is secured and protected. So I need policies to make sure that when you deploy the storage account, it will be behind the firewall, and I want to be sure that only my subnets and my whitelisted IPs may have access to it. So once again, we need policies to apply. Another use case is the billing. I want to control the billing of a business unit across subscriptions or of an owner or some recently created resources. So to achieve this, we need to enforce some tags. So before deploying a resource on Azure, I need to be sure that they will include the tags that I want to check or to control the billing. So you get it. Another time we need some policies, and let's pass through the demo to explain how the policies work. So in this demo, I'll try to apply 3 different policies. The first one is the allowed location. In this one, I'll try to prevent my ops team to deploy a storage account outside the European region. So the policy is a JSON file, and here there is a condition if the location is not in the allowed location, and the allowed location is a parameter of type array, and it has these values, West Europe or North Europe. So if my storage account is not in the West Europe or North Europe, then deny the deployment. And here I specify that I want Microsoft.storage. The second one is to restrict the public storage account. In other words, I need to apply a firewall before deploying the storage account. So here I say if the network ACLs are not equal to deny, then deny the deployment. So if I try to create a storage account without a firewall, it won't accept it. So the last one is tags, and here I say if the tag, if this tag does not exist, please add it with this value. And these parameters, we can find them here. They are of type string, tag name, and tag value. And before assigning the policy, I'm given the value of the tag name to BU, by example, and the value of tag value to R&D. So when I apply this rule, it will append this tag if it does not exist to this value in this tag name. Then I've created a small script that create the policy definition and assign it to a resource group. Already assigned the policies, so here we're going to find the location assignment, the security assignment, and the tags assignment. So if I try to create, and this was and here we are going to choose another region than the Europe ones. I mean the North Europe one and the West Europe one. So check this one. Then for the networking, I'll leave it as a public one. Oh, the validation is failed. Why? Because I did not respect the location assignment and the security one. So now if we back, and if I try to change the location to the West Europe, then I'll choose a public endpoint, but this time from behind the firewall, I mean. So I'll choose VNet and a subnet. And here I can create my storage account without any problem. Why? Because I'm going to deploy it inside Europe region, which is the West Europe, and it respects my policy, and I'll deploy the storage account behind the firewall. So the storage account is deployed inside the location that I wanted, and the policy appends the BU tag, and then the firewall is enabled. So that's all, and let's move on. Bravo, bravo, you've created a lot of policies and you think that you applied a good governance inside your organization, but unfortunately it's not the case. It's maybe not the case. Why? Because you need a lot of points to review or a lot of points to know before start talking governance. One of these points is a good organization. Doesn't matter how many policies you create. If you don't have a good organization, you'll never ever achieve a good governance. Why? Let's assume that tomorrow I come in and tell you, hi, I want to apply a set of policies inside only one business unit. How will you achieve this if you don't have a good organization? I mean, if you have 1 million subscriptions and 1 billion resource group, how will you apply the set of policies that I want inside only one business unit? I think that it's impossible. So before start talking governance, you need to talk organization first. You need to use management groups, you need to use subscriptions, you need to use resource groups, and you need to logically separate them. So then you can talk governance, then you can apply policies inside only one business unit or inside another business unit, inside only an environment, inside the whole organization. Another point is the way you deploy. A lot of customers talk about the governance, talk about the policies, but when you ask them how do you deploy your resources, they say using Azure portal. Seems funny, but it's true. Azure Portal is read-only. I mean, your operations team should not deploy inside the production using Azure Portal. You may use Azure Portal to deploy some resources to try them or to get some parameters, but deploying to the production using Azure Portal is not a good idea at all. So before start talking governance, start picking an infrastructure as code tools such as Terraform or ARM template. So you may deploy automatically your infrastructure. Why? Because if one day you lose your resources, no matter how many policies you created, they'll never ever bring them back if you don't have a versioned infrastructure as code using Terraform or ARM template. It's as simple as that. Yes, think about governance, but also think about the way you deploy. Naming convention. And the funny part. So I need a storage account for data. There is an ops guy who created winter is coming storage account. Well, that's fine. Winter is coming is for data. I can save it, I can memorize it. So tomorrow, winter is coming is for data. 1 month later, winter is coming is for data. 2 months later, my data are saved inside the winter is coming storage account. I get it. Don't worry, I can memorize it.
2 years later, the ops guy quits. Where is my data storage? Wait a second. I have a lot of storages. Winter is coming, winter is going, just in case storage, ha 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 storage. I just want my data storage. Where is the ops guy who created all these storages? Oh no, he quits. So I need to check every single storage just to get my data. So we apply DevOps to achieve an important time to market, and now we are going to lose some time just to get my data. So we need a naming convention to win time. One of the typical naming convention is the digit, project name, environment, service, and the free name. So if I want a data storage account, I just need to create a storage account with the name 001 government, it's a project name, development storage data. So after 1 year or 2 or 3 as you want, data will stay data. So you can get that data storage account quickly and easily. When we talk governance, we talk cost management. I need to decrease the billing by the end of the month. So I have to control costs by owner, by business unit, by environment across the subscriptions using tags. So I have to enforce some tags, and I need to use Azure Cost Management to control the billing every month, every day, or every week. As I always say, I'm not good at good advice, so well, thank you Joey and Thomas once again for this event. And if you have some questions, just send me a direct message on Twitter or comment video and I will answer you. Bella ciao!